Hey y'all, we're going to finish installing the Guardian mount transducer on the Guardian plate. Now we have to go underneath the kayak and install it on the kayak. The first step is we have to run the transducer cable up through the bottom of the hull. Now, having done that, we need to use the screws to mount the plate back into here. Before we mounted the transducer, we took off the screws. There's 6 screws, 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the back, that keep the plate fixed to the Guardian mount, fixed to the housing. When it comes from the factory, we take those off so it'll retract. Somehow right now, while I'm messing with this, protecting the steering didn't seem to be as good of an idea as it did at the time. Might have started with the front one first. Okay. First one is always the hardest, as they say. That fitting being brass, I don't want to cross thread it. There we go. All right, there it is. Tighten the front one. Tighten this one. Come back, tighten the first one. Now that we have the cable up through the Guardian mount port, we have to put it in the hull. So we're going to remove this watertight pass-through. There we go. Looks like it's going to rain. Maybe I shouldn't be removing the watertight pass-through. And we have the same bit of fun again. Okay, take the gasket, the rib side goes up towards the fitting, run it through your transducer cable, So now we've pulled the cable all the way through into the hull, and we need to route the cable through the pass-through. We take one of the grommets out, get the bag that Hobie gave us. What we want out of this bag is a bag with grommets. We want a really big one. So I'll start with the biggest one I see and see how it fits. That's actually a little too big. So let's find just a little bit smaller one. Maybe this one. That looks pretty good. Usually these blanks stay in pretty securely. This time around they don't want to. So making sure that my gasket is in the correct orientation with the rib side up and the flat side down. Taking my first screw. Putting it through, getting it started, taking my second screw, checking the alignment of the gasket, getting it started, you want it snug, but you don't want to get too tight because you're screwing into plastic. Just want to be able to compress that gasket. The next step is we're going to have to set up the cable that retracts it. In this vessel, they've put, maybe show you here, a lot more foam inside here than the Outback had. Normally, you're just going to find this cord. Oh, I see it. Now, we run the paracord over the pulley and come down, wrap the cable around the bridle. Kind of doing this by the rail method. Bring it up over the bridle. And then I'm going to tie a basic knot. Pliers might help me a little bit on that. Pull it up. Okay, got my overhand knot on it. So next, take our screw back out. There we go. Okay. So we've got the transducer coming out of the hole. We've got the retraction cable over the pulley. We've got the pulley back in place. The next step for the transducer will be to decide whether we bring it out of the starboard side pass-through, the port side pass-through, or if we choose to put a additional pass-through up here. You can purchase them from Hobie. We can for mounting our graphs up here on the front, we might want to bring it out up here. We're going to wait till we make the decision on where we're going to mount the graphs before we bring the transducer out of the hull. We're looking at the transducer fully deployed. And ready to come ashore. I'll pull in on the cable. My transducer's up in the hull where it's safe. So we see that's basically how a Guardian transducer works.